Hello. I'm going to make a rebuttal video here to a user called the Fifth Watcher, and I'm sure he's been tossed around the atheist community. I'm going to take my shot at it. This is a couple-month-old video, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not the only one that has picked it apart. But I thought it was rather funny. So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to play parts of his video for you, and I'm going to interject as needed.
The extreme lack of critical thinkers and people who use sound reason and logic in arguments for God is astounding, and as far as I know, I am one of two people I have ever known in the entire universe that are able to construct arguments remotely similar to this. Otherwise, it's always the atheists that are the ones using logic and reason.
I wonder why that is. And just to go ahead and correct you real quick, you might want to subtract 2 from your running total of theists that use logic and reason to argue for the existence of God, because that's not what you're going to do here in this video. I wonder why that is, though. I wonder why it is that such a vast number of atheists use logic and reason and such a vast number of theists don't. Could it be that atheism is rooted in logic and reason, and that theism is rooted in fairy tales and faith?
Reason to disprove God, but I think you can use the same things to prove the possibility of God. So if you were hoping to hear, I believe in God because I was raised to, and I think that's proof of God, then you're watching the wrong video.
Actually, I was hoping to hear, God can neither be proven nor disproven, so ergo he exists. Because that's what you're about to say. And that's what you're about to spend 4.5 or more minutes or so saying. That just because God cannot be disproven, that it's a logical argument for his existence. Which it isn't.
This is a first in a series called Proving Atheism Wrong, in which I will attempt to use logic and reason to disprove common atheist arguments.
And you will fail miserably. If this video is any indication of the future success of this video series, you will fail absolutely miserably, because you stumble on the fucking goal line, my friend. First down, opening play of the Super Bowl, and you throw a fucking interception. You do not use one logical argument throughout the entire body of this video that would lead anybody to believe that God exists. You do not remove the necessity of faith. And that is what you're claiming that you're going to do. And that is what you spend another 4 minutes or so not doing.
You'll notice, despite me being a theist, that I more or less argue an agnostic viewpoint.
And so do atheists. Atheists have to argue an agnostic viewpoint in order to call themselves atheists. In fact, I tell you what, you find me one atheist that says with 100% certainty that there is no God, and I will go and make a video response to him or her and set them straight. Atheists have to remain agnostic about the existence of God, because you can't disprove God any more than you can disprove, and I hate this argument because it's so overused, but I'm going to do it anyway. You can't disprove the flying spaghetti monster, Wotan, Thor, what does Dawkins say, the great Juju on the mountain, the tooth fairy, Beelzebub, any of these other fairy tales. You can't disprove them. That doesn't give me any logical reason to believe in them, and yet you're going to spend the rest of this video telling me why that does.
I will attempt to show that through a process of logic and reasoning we can come to a conclusion that supports the possibility of God, rather than one that somehow magically, empirically denies and proves the non-existence of God through logical reasoning alone, with no evidence
I'm listening, buddy.
against it, which is ridiculous. Because God either exists or he doesn't, all in spite of logical arguments for or against him. There's no...
Yeah, you're right. But that's not a logical argument for his existence. I either have 3 balls or 2. Now, that's not a logical argument for the fact that I've got 3 testicles. In fact, you could probably make a really educated, scientifically backed guess that I have 2 testicles, or less than 2 testicles, because the amount of men on this earth that have 3 testicles is absolutely minuscule. In fact, I don't know if there's one alive. There probably is somewhere. But I just made a wildly illogical claim. And you can't prove that it's wrong, but you can make a pretty goddamned educated guess.
No proof God does or doesn't exist, and not having empirical evidence for either argument, people are free to choose whether they are to believe in God or not.
And that's absolutely right, except for one part. Believing in God is a choice. You make a choice to shut out logic and reason, and you make a choice to believe in what amounts to a fairy tale, what amounts to having the same amount of evidence supporting its truth than a fairy tale does. The existence of the Bible and the words in the Bible are the only empirical evidence that God exists. And it's not empirical evidence. It's a book of fairy tales. Atheism, on the other hand, is making the choice not to believe in it due to that lack of evidence. Do you see the difference? The choice you make requires faith. The choice I make requires a lack of evidence.
I would stop arguing with an atheist almost immediately if they could admit that they believe in faith that there is absolutely no God, just as a person who believes in God believes in faith that there is God, as there's no empirical evidence of either. Now, of course, I'm talking about strong atheists only. If you're one of those atheists that's open to evidence concerning the existence of God, and if it could be proven you'd believe it, then I'm not really talking so much to you.
Yeah, you actually are. You see, because the amount of atheists that will tell you straight up 100% certainty there is absolutely no God is paltry compared to the amount of atheists that realize that we have to argue an agnostic viewpoint. And so either this video is incredibly pointless or it's directed at atheists at large. And if it is just directed at the 2 teenage kids, goth kids that hang out in front of the Hot Topic in Wichita, Kansas, that say that they 100% don't believe in God because they want to piss their parents off, then I sincerely apologize for wasting your time.
Because really, atheists and theists, we're the same. Because we believe things that cannot be empirically proven.
I'm going to stop here, and this is going to be the last rebuttal. Your video is about halfway over, and the rest of it is pretty much rehash of the first 2 minutes or so. I'll link your video in the description for this, just in case you don't approve this video comment, so that people can come and check it out and verify my claims. You're absolutely wrong. Atheists and theists are not the same, because we both believe something that lacks empirical evidence. Atheists and theists are the polar opposites of one another. You see, your side of the argument, the theist side, you're over here, and you're making a wild claim that has absolutely no evidence behind it. And me, the atheist, and my group, is standing over here, calling bullshit, because there is no evidence. You have faith in God, because you can't logically explain him. So you have to suspend logic and reason in order to believe in him. I lack a faith in God, making me your polar opposite. Black and white. Fire and ice. Paula Abdul and Simon. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I'm really looking forward to the next in the series, though, because this one was fucking stellar.
Now, if you're one of those atheists that believes there's actually evidence against God, let me tell you why you're stupid.
Please do.